Welcome to the Effortless English Show with the world's #1 English teacher, AJ Hogue, where AJ's more than 40 million students worldwide finally learn English once and for all, without the boring textbooks, classrooms, and grammar drills. Here's AJ with a quick piece to help you learn to speak fluent English effortlessly.
I'm AJ Hogue, the author of Effortless English, Learn to Speak English Like a Native, father of the Effortless English system, that teaches you, that trains you to speak English fluently, speak English powerfully, speak English confidently, think in English, speak English effortlessly. When you train with my VIP program, you've got to commit, don't quit. That's the important part. Commit, don't quit. That's the secret to success in most things in life. Commit and keep going. Don't quit. Eventually you will succeed. Commit, don't quit to my VIP program today at effortlessenglishclub.com. effortlessenglishclub.com. That's my website. Go there. Commit to my VIP program, effortlessenglishclub.com. We are live on Facebook today for our book club. Getting back to our book club again. Good. Continuing with our book, the book by Dale Carnegie, How to Stop Worrying and Start Living. It's kind of a classic self-help book about a very practical topic, worry. And lots of people are worried. And we have other words that are similar to worry, right? Anxiety. Anxiety is basically worry. Fear. Stress. These are all connected. They're all basically the same thing, which it's a kind of fear. Not like the fear like, I'm going to die right now, right? That's kind of a very strong fear. But worry, anxiety, these are kinds of fears that are less, but kind of, all the time, frequently. Worrying about the future, right? Afraid about the future, worrying about all kinds of things. They're kind of a lower level of fear and stress, but constant, and this causes lots of problems in life for lots of people. So it's a practical, very useful book. This book, basically, each chapter is a technique or a method or a mindset or an idea to help you reduce or stop worrying. So the best thing to do is you just choose. Just if you find you're worrying right now, just choose a technique. Try one, right? There's lots of them. Today we're doing chapters 9, 10, and 11. So 3 more. That gives us 11 total techniques so far, or ideas. And you can just, you're not going to use all of them at the same time. Just choose the ones that seem most powerful to you, most useful to you. All right, I'll say really quickly in our comments. People saying hello live. We've got Qatar, Brazil, Claudia, Vietnam, Kurdistan, Vietnam again. Hello. Lots of people saying hello. Myanmar, hello. Algeria. Myanmar again. Oh, more Myanmar today. Brazil, Fernanda. Hello, Fernanda. Excuse me. Get a little water. Turin, Italy. Morocco. Cliffy, hello to you. Good to see you again. Morocco, Sudan. Tata, hello. Russia and France. Slovenia, Western Sahara, Egypt. Carol, good to see you. Yes, very nice. Somebody with is it the Lao flag? Vietnam, lots of countries. Okay, Bangladesh, Vietnam, etc. Rome, Myanmar again. Oh, lots of Myanmar today. And Laos, interesting. Okay, Iraq. So, okay, let's just continue, guys. So, how to stop worrying and start living. As usual, I'll ignore your comments for a while I focus on the topic. Then I'll come back. We've got 3 techniques for worry. Now, this is one I talked about. We'll start with chapter 9. Cooperate with the inevitable. I did a recent podcast about this topic where I went fairly deeply about this topic. Let's talk more about it now. The inevitable. It's a good word, a good vocabulary word. Inevitable means unavoidable, not avoidable. You cannot avoid it. So he's saying you have to learn to have a mindset, an attitude of cooperation and acceptance. You must accept the inevitable because you have no other choice. That's the truth, right? You have no other choice. If something is truly inevitable, cannot be avoided, well, what choice do you have? You can get angry about it. You can get worried about it. You can fight against the idea, but still it's going to happen. Nothing you do will stop it. So it's crazy to fight against it. In life, there are things like this that we cannot avoid. And so what's the intelligent thing to do with those situations in life that we can't avoid? The intelligent thing to do is learn to accept them. It's not always easy because sometimes these inevitable things are difficult. Sometimes they're painful, but it doesn't matter. We can't avoid them. And here, here's this quote here that we are going to meet a lot of unpleasant situations in life, right? Throughout your life, during your life, you're going to have in your life many, many unpleasant situations you don't enjoy. There will be many small things that are frustrating, difficult, uncomfortable, irritating, stressful. There will be things kind of at a medium level, lots of the small ones, maybe every single day. There's some small, unpleasant things. But then, of course, at different times in your life, there will be some very big ones, some very big, painful, very difficult situations. Cannot be avoided. This is true for every human being, every single human being. No exceptions. Doesn't matter. Billionaire, king, super powerful or poor. It doesn't matter. Of course, some people have a lot more difficulty in life. They seem to have a lot more suffering, a lot more unpleasantness, and some people have less, but everybody has it, right? There's no avoiding it completely. Impossible. I mean, just the very basic one, death. No one can avoid it. It doesn't matter how rich you are. It doesn't matter how, someone rich and evil like George Soros. Maybe you think, oh, well, he's evil, but nothing bad happens to him. He's still going to die. He's still going to die. It doesn't matter how rich and powerful he is. He's still going to die. It's inevitable. And then he quotes William James, which is William James wrote a fairly famous book about religion. And William James says, acceptance of what has happened is the first step to overcoming the consequences of any misfortune. Misfortune means bad luck. So if you have some bad luck, if something bad happens, if you're still alive, well, great, then you're not dead. That means you can overcome the consequences. You can't change what happened. It's already happened. It's already done. But you can adapt to it, right? Improvise, adapt, overcome. You can still overcome many, maybe all of the bad consequences, the bad results from that situation. So again, let's imagine you fall down, you have an accident, you break your leg. Can you now avoid that? Can you change that? No, it's happened. It's done. You have no choice. You must accept your leg is broken. If you don't accept it, what happens? You're going to hurt yourself more. If you say, oh, no, I'm fine. My leg's fine. It's okay. And you continue trying to walk on your leg. You don't go to the doctor. Is that intelligent? No, that's stupid. Is that positive thinking? No, it's not positive thinking. It's stupid thinking, right? Because what are you going to do? If you pretend the situation is different, if you try to avoid the truth, ignore the truth, you're going to hurt your leg even more. If you try to walk on a broken leg, you're going to hurt it even more. If you don't go to a doctor or you don't get it fixed, you're going to hurt it even more. It's going to get worse and worse and worse and worse. So avoiding truth, especially avoiding difficult truth, painful truth, that's not positive thinking. That's not intelligent. It's stupid. It's foolish. It creates more suffering. It creates worse luck and worse results. So what's the intelligent thing to do? If you have a broken leg, the first thing you say, my leg is broken. This is the first step to deal with it. You have to deal with it, right? Now, does this mean your life is over? Should you just cry and cry and cry forever? My leg is broken. I can never do anything again. Life is finished. I'll never have a good life now because my leg is broken. Right? Hopeless. That's the other extreme. That's the super negative thinking. A lot of people do this. Even small problems, they make it huge. Oh, it's terrible. Life is finished. Right? Black pill. This is kind of a slang. People call this black pill. Black pilled. They're black pilled. Every problem they make bigger and bigger and everything's hopeless. So if you break your leg and you cry, it's hopeless. That's also stupid. That's also foolish. It's also not true. No, it just means the first step with the inevitable. Something bad happens. It can't be avoided. You can't avoid it or already it happened. Well, you have to accept it. You must accept it. My leg is broken. This is the first step. Then what's the next step? Well, then, of course, you have many choices after that. Well, then the smart thing, then you go to the doctor. Go to the emergency room. Go to someone. And they fix your leg. And, okay, maybe for a few months you can't walk much. You're in a wheelchair or you have crutches. You have the sticks you have to walk with. But, little by little, your leg will grow and get better again. Then later, you have therapy. You have to do all these exercises to make your leg strong again. But eventually, you will. Eventually, your leg will heal. Eventually, your leg will get stronger again and back to normal. It might take some time, but it can happen. Eventually, it will happen. And then you can run and do everything again. So it doesn't mean... The inevitable does not mean, it's the end of the world. Oh, hopeless. No, but it also does not mean... Too many people think positive thinking. They use it to try to ignore difficult truth. That's not positive thinking. That's called delusion. Delusion. Delusion means you lie to yourself. You're lying to yourself. That's delusion. You're deluding yourself. Deluding and delusion, that's not positive thinking. In fact, it's very negative. Even if you say, oh, my leg is strong, my leg is fine, my leg is fine, my leg is fine, I'm fine, the leg is fine, my leg is fine, it's not broken, my leg is strong, my leg is healthy, my leg is healthy. It doesn't matter. You can say that 1,000,000 times, your leg is still broken, right? That's delusion. So we have to know the difference between delusion and positive thinking. Positive thinking is, my leg is broken, but I can go to the doctor, I'll get it fixed, I'll eat good nutrition, and eventually I'll be strong again, right? You keep that hope, you keep the positive vision, you keep moving forward, you keep fighting, you improvise, you adapt, you overcome. That's positive thinking. You deal with the truth, but positive thinking must always be connected to truth. If it's not, then it's delusion, and it's bad, it's negative, it will hurt you. As long as positive thinking is connected to the truth, it's true, then it makes you stronger. So cool. That's what this chapter is really about, I think. Then there's another nice little phrase I highlighted here. We are stronger than we think. We are stronger than we think. This is true. I think this is true for most people. Maybe some exceptions. But, often we imagine from worry, something bad's coming. We know something bad's going to happen. And we're so afraid, we're terrified. We're terrified, or we're afraid of something might happen. We're so worried that we'll start a business and fail. We're so worried we'll try something and fail. And we imagine that it will destroy us. It will destroy us. It'll be so horrible. But really, we're not being good to ourselves. We don't realize that, actually, you're stronger than you think, probably. Probably if the bad thing happens, you are going to be okay still. So many people imagine disaster, but if it really happens, somehow they keep fighting, they get through. I just had this happen in my own life. Some of you know we just had twin babies, one of them in the hospital, super stressed, very, very worried, huge problems. But you know what? We got through it. We kept fighting, and we got stronger and stronger. My wife and I, we had to be stronger and stronger, and we just had to solve the problem. It was difficult. It was tough, but we kept moving forward. We kept fighting. Stronger than we thought we were. Before, a year ago, I would have maybe imagined, oh, this is terrible. I could never handle this. But I can. And you can too. You can handle more than you think. You're stronger than you imagine. Another phrase here in this chapter is to say, I accept the universe. Right? This means that we have to accept life as it is. This is also very Taoist, very philosophical. That's too many people fight against reality. They hate reality, right? We can complain, oh, there are poor people in the world. Oh, there's problems. Oh, there's pain. Why? And they fight against it. It should not be. And this just makes things worse. You have to start with accept the world as it is now. Accept reality. Accept truth. So much of the media, so much of modern media and politics is about ignoring reality, pretending, right? They're trying to imagine it should be this way, but it's not. The first step is you have to accept reality, accept what is real. And sometimes that means you have to accept that the situation is difficult, the situation is tough. You don't like the situation. God doesn't care. The universe doesn't care if you don't like it, right? Because we are under. We are under God. We are under the universe. Sometimes we don't understand. Sometimes later you will understand. I've seen this in my own life many times. I can think of many situations in my life in the past where I complained and this is terrible and why and this is horrible. This is the worst thing in my life. Oh my God. And then now, 20 years later, I look back, I think I'm grateful for that tough situation because I learned so much. It changed me. It made me a better person. It made me a stronger person. Now my life is much better because I suffered then, because I had that problem. If I never suffered, if I never had any problems in the past, I would still be like I was when I was a kid. I would still be like I was when I was, 14. Meaning I would still be a spoiled, weak child. Right? If I never had those bad experiences, those tough experiences I had to fight through and learn and deal with, then I would just be the same as I was at age 13 or age 12 or age 14. I would still be like a weak, spoiled child. I would still have lots of delusions, right? Lots of lies in my mind about reality, about the world. I would have no wisdom, no understanding. I would have no faith, no reason to have faith. I would be a much worse person. So now I can look back. Of course, in the middle of it, when you're actually in the middle of the inevitable suffering and difficulty, of course, nobody likes it, but we have to try to remember that, maybe there's a bigger purpose. Try to have a little faith. Now, next in the chapter, he does mention, of course, if there's a chance to save a situation, if there's a chance you can change a bad situation, of course, continue to fight. This does not mean you quit. something difficult happens, you just quit. No, the opposite. You fight. But sometimes you fight and you lose. Or sometimes, you want something and you just don't get it. Sometimes you fail, right? And when that happens, you have to accept it. There's no other choice, really. If you don't accept it, you go crazy. If you don't accept it, you become a really super unhappy person. So the inevitable cannot be fought. There's nothing you can do against it. That's the definition of inevitable. Cannot be avoided. So instead of fighting against the inevitable, you have to learn to accept it and to cooperate with it, to go with it. A very Taoist idea, honestly. Dharmic idea. All right, let's move on to chapter 10. Put a stop-loss order on your worries. This is technique number 10, chapter number 10. Put a stop-loss on your worries. Now, any of you who do stock investing or trading, you might know this word, this phrase, stop-loss. This comes from business. It comes from investing. What's a stop-loss? A stop-loss is an order where you tell the market. I mean, now we can do it with computers, right? You can tell if you have an account, an online account. You can tell it at a certain price. If the price drops to this point, sell it automatically. Sell it. So let's keep the numbers easy. You buy a stock. Let's say you buy a stock at $100. You pay $100. Well, of course, you never know. Will it go up? Will it go down? Of course, you want it to go up. But what if it goes down? Right? I mean, it could go all the way to zero. If the company completely goes bankrupt, then the price could drop from 100, 90, 80, 70, 60, all the way to zero. You lose all of your money. You lose $100. Well, that's not good. So what some people do, what you can do in investing, is you can create what's called a stop-loss order. You put the order before. You put the order. You buy the stock, and then you make an order. You say, if the price drops to 80, sell immediately. This is called stop-loss. It means stop the loss, right? Stop the loss. If you do this, then you can only lose 20, right? If it drops 100, drops to 80, then it sells automatically. So you'll never lose more than 20, right? Because automatically it will sell, you will sell, anytime the price goes to 80 or if it starts going below 80. But really, when it hits 80, it sells, ideally. So it limits, right? It limits your loss. It limits your loss. You can't lose 100. You can't lose 50. You can only lose 20. 20 is the maximum you can lose when you use a stop-loss order. So it's a very good technique to protect your investment. You still lose some money, but it keeps your losses smaller. So this is the idea. So what is it? He's talking about using this with worry. So how do we do this mentally? So he says you can also do this with your time. He gives an example that he had a friend, and they would often meet for lunch. But his friend would be late. His friend would be, 20 minutes late, 30 minutes late, 40 minutes late, an hour late. And he would start getting angry and getting really upset. And he decided to make a stop loss of time. So he decided, okay, I'm going to make a stop loss, meaning I will wait 10 minutes. After 10 minutes, I leave. Or I order my food, right? I'm only going to wait 10 minutes. That's the amount of time I will lose waiting on my friend. After that, done. And then he told his friend this. He said, look, you know what? Instead of getting upset about you being late all the time, here's what I'm going to do. I will wait 10 minutes. After that, I'm gone. So if you're later, if you're more late than 10 minutes, I might not be here. Or I might be eating already. And this is a way to get rid of worry, right? So instead of worrying, oh, when's he coming? He always knows 10 minutes. He limits at the most 10 minutes, and then I leave. Or at 10 minutes, then I am eating my food. So it limits his frustration. So it's kind of the same idea as a stop-loss order, right? Okay, so then he's basically saying then try to do this in your life with anything. Anytime you're worrying about something, anytime there's a problem in life, decide before it happens. How much will you worry about it? How much will you deal with it? And then when you reach that level, completely stop and push it away. Don't deal with it anymore. So he's like, you can use this in many parts of your life to limit the problems, right? So financially, you can limit your losses with the stop loss. With time, waiting on people. Or, you could decide, like, how long will I work on a project? For example, let's say you start a business. You decide, I'm going to start a business. And it's lots of work. Well, when you start the business at the beginning, you can decide, put a stop loss. You can say, okay, I will allow my business to lose $2,000, and I will work on this business for 2 years. And after 2 years, if still losing money, if still it's not making money, I will close the business. Or if it loses more than $2,000, then I stop and I close the business. So you decide this logically at the beginning. You don't do it at the end, later when you're all worried. And this limits your worry. Then you know. If you do this, then you know, well, okay, if I start a business, the most I can lose is $2,000. How do you know? Because you decided this. You have a stop loss. You decided this yourself. I can only lose $2,000 because after $2,000, then I stop. This limits your fear. Because now you know, well, okay, I can lose $2,000. That's not the end of the world. Or it could be $5,000 or it could be $100,000. It depends on how much money you have. And again, you can do this with time. You can say, okay, I will work on this business for 1 year, with just working constantly. And even if it's losing money and nothing's happening, I will continue working. But after 1 year, it has to be making money. If it's not making money after 1 year, then I'm done. See, this is how you limit your risk. This is another, technique. I did this with Effortless English. When I started Effortless English, I had a very, very tight budget. I was not going to lose a lot of money. No way. I already decided ahead of time. I was willing to spend about $500. That's all. So I started it very, very cheaply, and it worked. So it's a very good technique in life to limit your losses, and that limits your worry because you do it ahead of time. You do it in the beginning. You decide before it happens, and this can cause you to, don't worry so much. And then the last one here is chapter 11. It's don't try to saw sawdust. And basically this is saying that once something is finished, let it go. So this is really about talking about things that happened already. The past. Some people worry about the past. I don't know if we can really call it worry. It's not quite the correct word. But people, think about the past and they regret. Regret is really the correct word, vocabulary word, about when you think about the past, something negative, and you just keep thinking about it and again and again and again. And he mentions George Washington Carver lost $40,000 in a bank crash, $40,000. And someone asked him, did you know you lost all your money? And he just said, yes, I heard. Yeah. And he just continued teaching. He was a teacher at a university. Basically, he just said yeah, whatever. He just forgot about it immediately. He just immediately let it go because he realized, well, it's gone. What can I do? Crying about it is pointless. If I cry about it, the money's not coming back. If I get angry about it, the money's not coming back. So he just let it go. It's not easy, of course. I know this is not easy. I think most of us would get upset, probably. But at least we can limit it, right? So maybe, okay, you lose $40,000 and you're like, ah! Okay, give yourself. But again, give it a limit, like the last chapter. Give it a limit. Say, okay, I will let myself be angry and upset for 2 days. For 2 days, I will yell and I will be upset or I will cry or whatever I need to do to feel better emotionally. I will be upset about this loss, right? Losing this money, this failure, but I'm going to limit it. I'll give myself 2 days only. And then after 2 days, I'm done. After 2 days, it's gone. Let it go. Move forward. I think that's also, this is a technique I use. I'm not as good as this guy, this example. I usually cannot immediately do that, right? In the first moment, I can't do it. But what does work for me, is just that I will put a time limit on it. I did that with our baby, recently, who's been so upset. There were a couple of points where I really felt hopeless. Right there, one especially where I felt hopeless. I thought probably he's going to die, and it's hopeless. There's nothing we can do now, and overwhelm, panic, all this stuff. And so you know what? I couldn't just immediately let it go, but I just said, okay, I'm going to give myself just like an hour. I gave myself an hour. I took a shower. I just sat in the shower. I just let myself be hopeless and depressed. Sitting in the shower. But I decided when the shower's finished, I'm going to stand up, and then I'm going to be strong, and I'm going to fight, and I'm going to find a solution. I'm going to find a way. I will let myself feel powerless, but only for an hour. And that's what I did. I said, I went in, took a shower, just sat under the water, just sat on the floor of the shower, feeling completely miserable and hopeless. And I just let it out. And then I stood up, and I put on my clothes, and I started thinking, okay, how do I solve this? How do I solve this? And I started fighting again. So that's a great thing you can do about bad things that happen. This is kind of the last chapter 10, plus this. I mean, you have to first realize you can't change the past. It can't, right? The next section, he says, don't cry over spilt milk. This is an idiom in English, probably in many other languages, something like this. Don't cry over spilt milk, right? It means if you spill the milk, you drop it on the floor, there's no reason to cry about it. It's gone now. You can't drink it. There's glass in there, right? You can't drink it. It's gone. Just let it go. When something's gone, just let it go. When you lose money, just let it go. Something bad happens, let it go. Because if you focus on crying about it, and being upset, and just focusing on it for too long, then what are you not doing? Then you're not helping. You're not solving the problem. You're not moving forward. You're not still in the fight. It makes you weaker. This is the problem. So again, I think it's fine to, something bad happens, put a limit. The same thing like a relationship. Let's say your girlfriend breaks up with you, your boyfriend breaks up with you and leaves you. Are you immediately just like, yeah, I don't care? Probably not if you love them, right? But you have to put a limit on it, because some people will go for months and months. Some people will go for years, angry and sad and depressed about the breakup for years and years. Oh, he left me. Oh, he cheated on me. Oh, she was terrible. Years and years and years. Just destroys their life. That's not good. So you put a limit. You choose the limit. You could say 1 week. You could say 1 month. You could say 3 months. It doesn't really matter. You decide. But you say, okay, I will cry and feel bad and let myself be depressed, but this long. I have a limit, and after that, no more crying about spilt milk, no more focusing on the past. Time to improvise, adapt, overcome, move forward, stay in the fight. And then he gives another story about a boxer, Jack Dempsey, an old boxer. If you know boxing, Jack Dempsey was a very famous boxer. He was a champion. But at the end of his career, the end of every career, right? At the end of his career, he got older. He was not as good, and he finally lost. He was in a championship fight, and he lost to another guy. And, he was super depressed about it, of course. So they had a rematch. They had another fight. He lost again. And then he realized, I'm too old now. I'm too old. I'm not a champion anymore. I will never be a champion again. My boxing career is finished. Done forever. So, he had to accept it, right? He had to accept it. He couldn't. So what could he do? Just focus about that forever, right? Just, some people do this. They try to live in the past all the time. Oh, I remember when I was 20, I was the great boxer. I was a great soccer player. I was the best. And they just talk about it all the time. And we call this glory days, right? They just talk about their glory days of the past constantly. It's kind of sad, right? We all recognize this is sad. Why? Because, you can't change the past. So there's no point focusing on it too much. It's good to appreciate the past, be grateful. That's nice. But to just try to hold on to it, no. So what did Jack Dempsey do? Well, he finally realized, I have to do something else. I have to move forward, focus on life now. And he opened a restaurant. He opened a restaurant in New York, and he enjoyed running his restaurant, and it became kind of a famous restaurant. So he became a business person, he became a restaurant owner, and that became his new life. All right, and that is the end of our 3 chapters, at the end of this section. All right, so it's time for our comments and questions, as usual. Comments and questions about these 3 chapters, any of your ideas, any questions about it, whatever. We're doing this we're going to do the book club on Facebook. Carol on Twitter. She wrote a very nice summary of her ideas about Twitter and YouTube. And I agree with her about that. And basically what she said, and I agree, is that Facebook here, we have kind of more of our long-time Effortless English supporters and members. And when we do a topic, like a deep topic, a serious topic, like philosophy or spiritual topic or book club or something like this, the comments, the questions are better on Facebook. Better means you actually listen to the topic. You actually talk about the topic. Where on YouTube, it's a different kind of audience, often, usually. Many times they are not listening to the topic. They don't talk about the topic. They just, how do I learn English faster? And they just ask the same questions again and again and again and again and again and again and again. It's okay. I understand it. It's not that they're not bad, but it's just not a very good situation when we're trying to talk about something else, when we're trying to discuss a book. So, as Carol suggested, we are going to do our book club shows on Facebook only. Just on Facebook, not YouTube. It's a better place to do it. Okay, let's go to the comments and questions. Now, you can ask other questions too, but in general, it's nice to, for a while at least, to focus on our topic too. Okay, Razaz says, who's the author of this book and where can I find it? This is a very famous book. The author is Dale Carnegie. Dale Carnegie with a C. C-A-R-N-E-G-I-E. Dale Carnegie. Very famous writer. It's a classic self-help book. You can find it on Amazon. You can find it on Kobo. You can probably find it all over the internet, honestly. So just do, How to Stop Worrying by Dale Carnegie. You will find it, I am sure. Yeah, Iwa with a nice point. If you can't stop grieving is feeling sad after a loss. Go to a psychologist. Yeah, get some kind of help, right? Exactly. There is a period of grieving which is normal and healthy. If for example, again, if you're in love with someone and they break up with you, of course you're going to feel sad. It's totally normal. That's healthy to feel sad, to cry about it, to feel horrible for a while. But there's a limit. We all know this, right? There's a point, there's some time where it's healthy. And then after that, there's a time when it becomes unhealthy. Then everybody around you is telling you, oh, you need to get over this. You need to let go, right? Then you're doing it too long. That's the problem. And of course, it depends, like how long were you together? If you dated someone for 1 week, but then you cry about them for 3 years, right? That's a big problem. It's a huge problem. So, yes, get help, talk to your friends, talk to family members, wherever you need to find the help. Sometimes you have to get some other people to reading books about breakups and loss and letting go and forgiving. That helps too. There's lots of things you can do, but you've got to take action. That's the point. Okay. Aziz says, hello, my teacher. I'm glad to see you in a live show. You're the best. Thanks for doing all this for us always. God bless you and your family. Oh, that's very nice. Thank you, Aziz. Okay, Nasser. Hey, Nasser, as usual, Nasser. Sometimes, even though we know that, thinking in a certain way, we're still going to worry, yeah, but we cannot avoid that. Is that human nature or something we get affected by from politics, school, etc.? I think it's, human nature. Yeah, it's not, many have mentioned, these are not magic, these techniques. You have to use some effort, and it's a fight for a while, right? So it's normal. It's human nature to be afraid. It's human nature to worry about the future. We all do it. It's human nature to, regret the past and to feel bad about the past. It's just that we have to recognize when it's not healthy anymore. And then we have to try to use these techniques. Does it mean you try the technique one time and everything disappears magically? You don't worry anymore? No. But you got to keep fighting, and it will get better. It gets better. As I mentioned, I just dealt with, I'm still, in some way, still doing it with my baby, but especially last month when it was so horrible. But even now, of course, I keep, these worries, my worries. I thought my new baby was going to die. I still worry sometimes that he might die. And so I used a lot of these techniques from the book. Right? And I'll use it and it helps. And then sometimes the worry comes back and I have to stop myself, right? You have to just stop yourself. You have to be aware and you realize I'm worrying again. I'm worrying too much. And then you have to stop yourself and then use one of these techniques and then use it. And then get control of your mind again, right? This is about controlling your own mind, being the master of your own mind, not becoming weak, not being a victim, not letting worry be your master. You are the master. So yeah, sometimes it's a fight. I mean, in tough situations, you're going to have to fight. Maybe every day for a while. Again, like an example, the breakup example is good because a lot of people had this experience. Boyfriend or girlfriend breaks up. Well, in the beginning, every day you're fighting to be positive. You're fighting to be strong. You're fighting to stop thinking about them all the time. You're fighting, and for a while, it's a fight. Yes, it's not just, it's easy and done. For most people, it's a fight, but you have to fight. You need to fight. Don't just quit. But when you fight, when you use these techniques, when you push yourself to use these techniques each day, when you keep fighting to stay positive, keep fighting to move forward, it gets better. And you recover. And then your life, this is how you learn from these experiences. This is how these tough life experiences make you stronger and happier and wiser. When you do fight. If you don't fight, then those are the people who become weak. Like, probably some people like this. I certainly do in my life. Where, again, like a boyfriend broke up with them. And they did not fight. They just focused on being depressed and sad after 1 month, 2 months, 5 months, 9 months, a year, 2 years, 3 years, still sad, still depressed, still feel like a victim. They learn nothing from the loss. They learn nothing from the problem. They learn nothing from the pain. They don't become wiser. They don't become better people. They become worse. They become weaker. That's the choice. That's the choice. So you choose wisely, okay? You've got to fight. Choose the fight. And Tata with a great comment connected to this. Inevitable situation is not a reason to turn into a victim. Correct. The opposite. When you are aware about coming inevitable situations, you have time to prepare for this fight and make it less painful. Yeah. But are inevitable things always expected and predictable? No, they're not. I don't think so. True. Often inevitable things take us by surprise. You are correct. Just happened to me. What then? Then we should remember Santiago, who despite all troubles stayed in the fight and kept going. The Alchemist, one of our other books. That's correct. Tata, exactly right. And I said, just happened to me. I did not expect this situation with my baby, so serious. It did surprise me. For a few weeks, it was really horrible because it was such a surprise and a shock. That was the hardest part for me, was the shock of it. I wasn't prepared. But then you fight. You just keep fighting. You just keep doing your best. And then little by little, day by day, week by week, you do get stronger. You do move forward. You stay in the fight. You stay in the fight. Just keep that in your mind. Keep fighting. Keep fighting. Keep fighting. That's what you do. Little steps, little steps. Sometimes you can't change it all. You just try to take the next step. As you said, just like Santiago in The Alchemist, right? Many times it seemed he had a chance to quit in that story. Many times he had a choice. He could quit, but he didn't. He just stayed in the fight. He kept going somehow, even when some shocking situation happened. Okay. See what else we got here. Comments. Rafaco with a nice little kind of a saying, it's almost. Worry kills more people than work. Because more people worry than work. Yeah, unless you have a dangerous job, you're not going to die from work probably, but absolutely, worry just not only kills but makes people so unhappy and stressed out. That's why this is a popular book, because it is a huge, huge, huge thing. It really is terrible. Raphael says, everything I have in my life today is thanks to AJ. AJ, I love you. Your method changed my life. Well, that's nice. Thank you. Thank you very much. Iwa Laura says, doing nothing is killing hope. Exactly. Right? When you're hopeless, what do? You quit. You just stop. You just sit and it's all over. It's finished. That's hopelessness. As long as you're alive, keep going. Okay. All right. Just looking for more comments. This is not about the topic, but I'll read it. Hi, AJ. I'm from Myanmar. Have you ever spoken to Myanmar people before outside? Yeah, I think I've met some people from Myanmar. I want there to be lots of teachers like you. Thanks. I would like to visit Myanmar. It's a country I want to visit. It's one of the ones I want to visit next. I have a short list of countries I want to visit soon. Myanmar is one of them. Myanmar, Brazil, a few others. Of course, I'd like to visit all of the countries, but it takes time. Okay, let's see. Here's another question. From, I can't pronounce your name. I'm so sorry because it's Vietnamese, I believe. I am Tan I can't do the... I've had Vietnamese people correct my pronunciation many times. Let's see. I'm the kind of person who always trying to please everyone surrounding me. Yeah, I know the feeling. I know it absolutely not a good habit, but I don't actually know how to eliminate it out of my life. Even if I've tried so many ways, but it seems like it doesn't work. Yeah, I understand. There's a good book called No More Mr. Nice Guy. No More Mr. Nice Guy. I can't remember the writer, but that's the title of the book. You can find it on Amazon, Kobo.com. Try reading that. No More Mr. Nice Guy. No More Mr. Nice Guy. And the other thing is the problem with people who are nice is that too nice is that, yeah, nobody respects you, right? And so I know it's hard. I have had and still have sometimes this same problem. And the solution is honesty, to be honest with yourself, but especially with other people, to say what you really think. And so even when it's not nice, especially when it's not nice. You also might want to read I can see your picture, you're a guy. So you might also want to read The Rational Male by Rollo Tomassi. The Rational Male by Rollo Tomassi. It's actually 3 books in the series. So No More Mr. Nice Guy. That's probably the best one for you. And also The Rational Male. That's more about dating, but it'll be helpful too. Okay. Rafael inviting me to Brazil. Come to Brazil, you'll be very welcome, my dear teacher. Yeah, I want to someday. Brazil for sure. You should visit Mexico. I have been to Mexico once. I traveled around. My wife and we traveled around Central and South Mexico. I had a great trip. So I wouldn't mind returning to Mexico. Puebla, Oaxaca. Where else did we go? Mexico City. Was it Veracruz? Yeah. Anyway, yeah, very nice. Okay, Rafika with another nice comment. There is a decent way of breaking worry by filling our mind with thoughts of peace, courage, health, and hope. True. We can only think of one thing at a time. We talked about this in the last book club show. Exactly this. Clear your mind of the clutter. Clutter is like garbage, trash. Fill your mind with those things that are good, things that are true, noble, right, pure, lovely, and honorable. Absolutely very strong, very powerful comment, Rafiko, and correct. This is being proactive, right? You have reactive and proactive. Reactive, you wait for something to happen, and then you do something. Proactive, you don't wait. You do. You take positive action first. You don't wait for something to happen. You take action first. That's what he's talking about. Before you worry, before you're feeling bad, or even if you're feeling bad now, focus on good things all the time. Listen to positive audios. That's one thing I try to do for you with this show, with this podcast. Every day, or almost every day, give you something positive to focus on. Don't listen to the news. Don't listen to the lies and the fake news and the fear and all that garbage and negative stuff. Listen to positive, strong things. Fill your mind with strong things. Read books that are inspiring, strong. You know, we've talked about the idea of, meditation, like this Very old idea of mantra. Tony Robbins, the self-help guy, the motivational speaker, he kind of used this same idea, but it's a very old idea. He called it incantation, but it really is mantra, which is super old. And that's where you just take a positive word, a positive sentence, and you repeat it with energy, with emotion, with power, again and again and again and again. Why? Why do you do this? Why? Because when you do that, then it pushes out the negative stuff. You're saying something positive. It might be a very simple sentence like, I am a great English speaker. I am a great English speaker. And you're just kind of repeating it. You can say it with your voice out loud, or you can just think it. Only just think it in your head. Either one is okay. But you're repeating it again and again with emotion, with power, with energy. Why? I mean, on one hand, maybe it's kind of programming your mind with a positive thought, with a positive idea, a positive direction. That's good. But also, at least it prevents the worry. It blocks the negative. So even if that is not programming, even if that's not working to program, it is at least it helps to push away or to keep out negative things, bad thoughts. I suck at English. English is too hard. Hope. All that negative stuff, you push it out with the strong thing. And of course, religions have this. All the major religions have something like this, some version of this. Chanting, mantra, something. Why do they do that? As if it's a form of meditation. But it focuses their mind on something powerful, something true, something good. And when your mind is strongly focused on something good, true, powerful, then it's not focused on something negative and bad and weak. So very, 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 very good point. And that's a simple technique. I'm going to give you another technique. It's very similar to this, Rafiko, because it's something it's so simple. So simple that I just remembered. I almost forgot to share this. So 2 nights ago, I was up late. I'm watching one of our babies, and I watch our baby at night. I do the late night. Dad is the late night babysitter. And 2 nights ago, it was, 3 a.m., something like that, 3:30 a.m. I was so tired, just exhausted. And, but I know I needed to stay awake for longer, right? So my wife can rest, can sleep some while I'm watching the baby. And I thought, well, I don't want to fall asleep right now. Need to watch the baby. And also I would like to do something positive. Like maybe I can think about an effortless English show, or maybe I can listen to something positive, kind of like what Rafiko's saying. But my energy was so low, so tired, and I was thinking of kind of negative things like worry, right? Because I was tired and feeling weak. I'm kind of half awake, and start worrying about our other baby and other negative things. And but I'm so tired, it was hard to fight, right? It's hard to think of something positive because my energy was so low. So what to do? In this kind of situation, what to do? How could I change it very fast? And in those situations, I find I do something physical. I use my body. What did I do? I did something very, very easy. I changed my energy. I changed my mind, changed my feeling, changed everything in 1 minute. Less than 1 minute, less than 60 seconds. What did I do? I just did push-ups. I went to my kitchen, I got on the ground, and I just started doing push-ups. As many as possible to my maximum. My maximum right now is kind of sad. It's only 32 because for 1 month I was so lazy about and worried about my babies. I have not exercised, so my maximum push-ups have dropped. But anyway, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. If it doesn't, your maximum does not matter. Maybe your maximum is 5. It doesn't matter. But what happened? So I did 10 push-ups, really very easy. Nothing happened. 15. 20. At 20 then, starting to be a little difficult. Feeling a little tiredness in my arms. 25. Then they became quite difficult. 26, 27, 28, now really hard. So what happened? I have to use all my energy. I have to focus my mind 100% on push-ups. Nothing else. I can't think about worries. I can't think about problems. I can't think about being tired because every push-up now is super, super tough. It needs all my focus, all my energy just to 29. My face is red. 30. 31. And then the next one, my arms are shaking, every 100% focus. 32. And then kind of fall on the ground for a second. But what happens with that maximum physical effort? Suddenly not sleepy. All sleepiness, all tiredness gone instantly. My mental focus suddenly very, very focused, very sharp, very high mental energy because from doing that. Completely changed my feeling. And I felt good. It released the tiredness. It released the weakness. My mind, it woke up, of course. It made my body energize and wake up. The worry was gone. And then I felt great. Less than 60 seconds. And then I started doing some work. I started reading and listening to some nice podcasts about things. Did some meditation. And the rest of the night was great. So this is if nothing works, I think hard, something hard physical exercise. Anytime you can do this. Anytime you're feeling terrible, you can get on the ground and start doing push-ups. If you don't like, you can do push-ups, you can do sit-ups. The exercise doesn't matter. You can do pull-ups. If you really want to change, do sprints. Go outside and run as fast as you can for about 20 seconds. Full 20, 25 seconds, as fast as possible. Rest for about 20 seconds. Turn around, run again as fast as you can. Do that 5, 6 times. It will totally change how you feel. It will totally change your thinking. Everything will change from doing like 5 or 6 sprints. Any kind of hard exercise like that. And it can be done very, very, very quickly. So that's a great kind of emergency technique. When nothing else is working, do something like that. Okay, I think this is Indian writing, but it says, I found you the most sincere teacher while teaching something. Thank you. That's very nice. Thank you. I appreciate it. Okay, Tin says, I learn by heart a lot of your videos, like Join the 1%. Is this a good way to speak English well? I think I answered your question last time, but yes, that's fine. Listen to the podcast every day and join one of his courses, my courses, effortlessenglishclub.com. Oh, Ibrahim Ali just telling people where to find me. That's good. Son says, Tony Robbins is a life coach, not a motivational speaker. Yeah, I think that's right. I think he says he wants to be called a life coach, not a motivational speaker. Good point. Yeah, correct. I think that's more accurate. Sarah says, thank you, AJ. You're always giving me a positive feeling when I listen to your advice in life. Thank you again. Thank you, Sarah. That's very nice. Thank you. I'm trying. Okay. Simo says, Mr. AJ, I study network engineering. I guess that's computers, right? And I tried with your Power English packs. When I read some PDF books related to network, I found difficult words. How can I master something like that? Okay, right. So this is special vocabulary. We call this jargon. Jargon in English. Jargon. What is jargon? Jargon is the special vocabulary for, usually like for one job, for example. Right? So in network engineering, computer software, I'm guessing it's computer software engineering, there are going to be many vocabulary words that are special only for network engineering. Like, I won't know them. I won't understand them. It doesn't matter. I'm native speaker. I'm American, but I won't know them. Why? Because I'm not a computer engineer, right? And if you are not a computer engineer, you won't know. It's kind of jargon. It's the same thing with law, like lawyers. Lawyers have jargon. They have some vocabulary that only lawyers know, usually, right? Pilots, right? Lots of different jobs and areas, even hobbies, even in some sports, have their own jargon, their own little special vocabulary. It's just used in that job or that area or that activity. So how do you learn that? That's a little more difficult, right? Because it's not general English. My Power English course is general English. Of course, I teach general English, the common English. I don't teach jargon because it's very specialized. So how do you learn that? Well, you must read books and magazines just about your topic, network engineering. Maybe listen to podcasts about network engineering in English, right? And you might have to find some kind of dictionary that is we call it glossary, but it's kind of like a word list that is jargon for your job, your area. So you can start to learn that special vocabulary. But you learn it from lots and lots of reading and also some listening. But you got to focus on that topic, right? So something like, let's say, biology. What if you're a biologist? Well, how do you learn biology vocab? You're going to have to read, of course, books about biology, listen to biology podcasts, right? You're going to get it from biology topics, biology magazines. You've got to focus on biology. Just listening to general, like watching movies, will not help you with biology jargon, usually. And that's true for any kind of specialized vocabulary. That's what you have to do. Iwa, with the very kind of spiritual religious viewpoint on worry. Though difficulties teach us to be humble, everything is in God's hands. This also cheers us up. Yes, well, exactly right. And this is why, kind of religious faith can be very powerful. It's a very powerful way of overcoming worry as well, because you realize that the inevitable, you trust that the inevitable is in the hands of God, is in the hands of Dharma, and you can surrender that and not worry about it because of that faith. So very powerful. Indeed, it is. Mon says, I love your method of learning, improves my English skills so much and saves me a lot of time. Thank you again. Great. I'm happy. That's why I'm doing it. Here's a running question. Interesting. Let me ask you, I am a young man who runs marathons, but I have not won yet. Can you help me or something? Well, okay. So running. I don't know if I can help you with competitive running, like, winning races. I was never a competitive runner, right? I ran for fitness. I ran for enjoyment. So I was never trying to win a race. I don't know what level you're trying to win. Like if you're a professional athlete, you're trying to, become a world champion, then I can't help you. You should find a running coach for something like that, because I was never at that level. I don't know how to train at that level. Usually when I talk about marathons, I talk about just finishing, okay? Just finishing and enjoying it, right? So that's the level. My fastest marathon time was 3 hours and 40 minutes, 40. That's not that fast. Any real like competitive runner, that's not even fast enough to get into the Boston Marathon. So I'm not one to really tell you. I mean, you're just gonna go get some books. There's some books about, of course, competitive marathon running, where you're gonna have to follow some training schedules. You have to do speed work. I know that much. If you want to compete in the marathon, you have to do speed work. That's where you do, it's called interval training, right? You do, like, let's say a mile. You'll run a mile fast. And then you take then you rest for a minute, then you run another mile fast, then you rest for a minute, then another mile fast. So you start training your body to go faster. Repeats. But I can't give you, I'm sorry, I can't really give you much specific advice because I'm really not an expert in that. What about Lithuania? I would like to go. I work with some of our computer technical team for Effortless English is in Lithuania. And is it Estonia? No, Lithuania. Hello from Georgia. I appreciate you so much. You are the best teacher among the best. Thank you for all your lessons. From Naniko. Thank you, Naniko. Very nice. All right. Abdullah says, how to improve our pronunciation? Can you mention just the easy way? Okay, just the easy way. Get my pronunciation course, effortlessenglishclub.com. That is the super easy way to improve pronunciation. All right. Trying to catch up. You guys are writing fast. Marianne. Hi, Marianne again. The best preparation for tomorrow is doing your best today. Isn't that the truth? It's another good point. Which is better, to worry about the future or to prepare for the future? And preparing for the future means you do something now, right? Like, let's say you're worried about getting weak as you get older. Well, that does happen. But what to do about it? You could just sit on your butt every day and worry about it. Then you'll get weaker much sooner, much faster. Or you could do some kind of, exercise every day, keep your fitness level as high as possible. And then you'll have a much longer life, feeling stronger, being healthier. Okay, Martin. Martin Kleckner says, last year I was totally weaker and weaker in my mind. Fear from everything and everywhere. I visited psychologists and I bought your EE courses. It was a good choice for me. I'm interested to follow your method. See your videos like this. I've been starting to be strong, tough, fantastic. More enthusiastic, more preparing before worrying the situation. Positive feelings in general. Don't care about worries. Thank you so much. Hey, that's great. Thank you for sharing that. Really, really fantastic. Really good. And see, that's a perfect example. I've been there too. Maybe many of us have. So it's okay if you do start and you're feeling weak and you're feeling, worried and you're having all these problems. But the point is you can get out of it. You can get out of it with these techniques. And of course, with other things too, you can get your way. You can fight your way out and get stronger and get stronger. It's very similar to, it's really the same process, the same methodology, the same process for physical strength and fitness and for mental and emotional. It's the same idea, right? You can be physically very weak. I mean, like super, super, super weak, and you can be fat and weak and tired. It's okay. But the point is, you don't have to stay that way. You can get stronger. You can get more fit. You can get more endurance, more energy. How do you do it? Little by little, you're pushing yourself, right? Training. With your muscles, you can lift weights or do push-ups and pull-ups and things like that, and just gradually getting stronger, a little harder, a little tougher. Or if you want to do like running, you're more focused on endurance. Again, how do you do it? You run a little farther every week, right? You have a long run every week. And you go a little more each week, a little more. And then eventually you're running marathons. And if you want, eventually you're running double marathons. Okay. All right, just trying to catch up here. Okay. They're coming fast. Okay, this is an interesting question. Abramane says, "Hi, AJ. Hey again. Hello. How are you doing? I am somewhat naive. Can you tell me how to get rid of this?" Well, life experience, really. Naive, what does naive mean? Naive is that is where you don't have maybe not a lot of life experience. And maybe with naive, you trust too much. You trust, especially strangers, people you don't know. You trust too much. It's nice to be trusting, but sometimes we can be a little naive. We can be too trusting. My first trip to India helped me with that. I was super naive, and I was traveling around these big cities sometimes, and I got cheated a lot and harassed a lot. And by the end of the trip, I was much less naive. So a lot of it is challenging yourself, getting out there and getting more life experiences of different kinds, and you'll get a little less naive. But, don't worry about it too much. It's normal. All right, whoops. Yavid, I think it's Yavid or Javid. Javid or Yavid. Hello from Azerbaijan. My name is Javid. I'm working as a taxi driver. Every day I'm working at the same time. I'm trying to listen to your podcast. See, that's a great job for listening to English, right? Drive around and listen. Every day I'm talking with my customers. They're always asking me, how did you learn English? You have good pronunciation. I always advise them about your program, Effortless English. Thank you, AJ Hogue. Hey, that's great. Thank you. Fantastic. See, that's a great example of, he's learning English and working at the same time. He makes money while learning English. Pretty cool. Goes Said says, "Hi teacher, is nighttime a good time to learn English?" It doesn't matter. Anytime you want, Some people are morning people, we say, right? Some people love to get up early in the morning and exercise and do a lot. They're very energetic in the mornings. So other people are more night people. I'm more of a night person, usually. So just, use your best time. Doesn't really matter, honestly. Okay, Mikad with a nice question. Mikdad. AJ, could you talk more about the impact of using body language when speaking? How can we improve to be more aware? Why are you so happy about your course? Did you see you can teach us perfect English? Okay. Body language is very important. We could even say, more general is nonverbal. Nonverbal. So body language is gestures, face, right? You're using your body. But then we could also, talk about voice. So this is, again, nonverbal. It's not connected to words, but it is part of it. Your voice, how you use your voice. This is very important for good communication, and especially when you are trying to do something maybe in business, in sales, persuasion, public speaking. Then body language, nonverbal communication becomes very, very important. Maybe more important than just the words. Now, so it's super important, especially as you become more advanced. In the beginning, don't worry too much about this as you're learning English, but eventually, when you want to use English maybe in more professional situations, or you want to do public speaking or things like that, business, job interviews, then the body language, the nonverbal becomes super important. And how can you improve at that? There are lots of ways, but I would say a basic technique is, recording yourself with video. For voice, you can just record with audio, just to get that the sound of the voice. But then, of course, with body language, gestures, face, video. And I do this all the time now, and sometimes I still watch my own videos, and I just look for, good points and bad points, and this helped me improve a lot. So I think recording yourself and watching it and, taking notes, what looks good, what looks bad, what sounds good, what sounds bad. You can start to make improvements in this way, and it's a very simple way to do it. Okay. Oh, okay. Abraham Ali. Hey, Abraham. Thanks. Nice practical suggestion. AJ, can you do a short video on YouTube just to tell the Effortless English fans about the Gab group? A lot of them don't know about it. Okay, yeah, I can do that. And I'll just say now, we have a group on Gab now. Gab is a social media like Twitter, pretty similar to Twitter. But they have something called groups. And this is cool because this means you can join the group and you can meet all the other Effortless English supporters and fans and members that are also in the Gab group. So how do you do it? You have to sign up, join Gab. It's free, of course. Gab is G-A-B, gab.com, gab.com. So you join, you sign up, make your account. Then when you log in, you sign in. Just there, you'll see on the menu, left side, I think usually, you'll see in the menu groups. Go to groups and then just search Effortless English. Effortless English. It's a red and white flag symbol. Effortless English. Just join it. Just join and then just say hello. Hi, I'm new. Maybe say where you're from. Okay, here's Emmanuel. And hello again, Emmanuel. Do you recommend most teachers not teaching English if they have terrible pronunciation? Because my friend is going to university. He's always fed up because he cannot understand his teacher, how to deal with it. Yeah, I understand what you're saying. I had this experience one time myself in a university. We had they're called TAs, teaching assistant. And I think it was statistics class. I think it was my statistics class, yeah. And we had like the main class, and then we had what's called a lab. It was kind of like an extra class. And in the lab class, the teacher was from another country. I won't say which one. But his pronunciation was so bad, no one could understand. I couldn't understand anything. I stopped going to the class because it was useless. So there does need to be, I think that for sure, anyone teaching, not just teaching English, but teaching any topic, if it's in English, right? They should have a standard that's where it's good enough. Does it have to be perfect? No. It doesn't need to be perfect, but it should be understandable, clear and understandable. Clear enough, understandable enough that most people can understand it. Otherwise, you're not serving the students, right? I mean, the job of the teacher is to help the students. If you're not helping the students, you're not doing your job. So that's why it's important. So I agree with you. I was very frustrated. I remember being very frustrated at that time because I thought I'm paying for this course and this class is useless. I can't understand half of the classes. Lucien, hello from Brazil. Hello. Evening, Ashin, hello. All right. Mr. asking a question. I just talked about this in a podcast. So, Master, you should, I recommend you get my audio podcast. I don't think I talked about it. Did I talk about video? I'm not sure. I can't remember. Effective ways to teach kids as a second language, please. I just talked about this because I'm doing this with my own babies. I will be. But the easiest way is what's called one parent, one language. That's the easiest way. It's the most effective way, too. That's where one parent speaks English to the child all the time for a few years. You don't have to do it forever, but for a few years. And the other parent speaks your native language. So I'll be doing this because, I have 2 new babies. I will speak English to the babies all the time, of course. And then my wife will be speaking Japanese. She's Japanese, so she speaks English, but she's not going to speak English to the babies. She's going to speak Japanese only to the babies all the time. In this way, the babies will learn both languages. And for the babies, it feels kind of effortless. It's just natural. They will grow up speaking both as native speakers. So I mentioned this in the past. You do not need to be a native speaker to do this. It's okay. You don't need to be perfect. You're still going to help them a lot if you do this. So that's the most natural way to do it. Low stress, really kind of easy for the kids. Utik, good evening, AJ. Love you from Taiwan. Thank you. Very nice. Ahmed, I want you to speak my name. Gatas. All right. I think we're almost done. Let me see. I'm just scanning through some of these, kind of scanning back a little bit. Tin is recommending a next book. I hope the next book is How to Win Friends and Influence People. That's the same writer, Dale Carnegie. Probably not the next book. We'll probably change to a fiction book again. I've been doing nonfiction, fiction, nonfiction, fiction. I was surprised on Gab. Somebody did a poll, like a voting thing. What was the favorite book so far? And Animal Farm won. The most votes the book that got the most votes was Animal Farm, which is fiction, very political, and it got the most votes as people's favorite book. And I think number 2 was The Alchemist, another fiction. So the 2 fiction books got the most votes. Quite interesting to me. I actually surprised me. I expected the opposite. So I'll have to think of a good fiction book to do next. I like doing the fiction books. The fiction. Fiction, we can kind of go into very deep, kind of more philosophical ideas, I think. The fiction books are often more philosophical, sometimes political, psychological. The nonfiction books are very practical, right? Kind of life advice, very useful. We did the one about money. This one's about stopping worrying, right? Very, very practical advice, which is useful. But I do like the fiction books because then we can kind of really think about deeper ideas sometimes. I think that's why the fiction books have been or got the most votes, put it that way. So if you have a fiction book to recommend, please do, of course, in English. Francois, I learned English by myself, but in my house, I'm the only one that speaks English. How can I do with my family to be willing to learn English with me? Well, that's the challenge, right, Francois? Because I don't know how old your children are. Now, if they're very young, then no choice. You just speak to them in English all the time, and they'll learn it. It's a little more challenging as they get older because, if they're older, let's say they're 10 years old. You have a 10-year-old child. Well, they know you speak, I'm guessing what? Francois Campos Gualaro. Are you Brazilian or from? I'm not sure which country you're from. let's imagine you're French. So if you're French, then they know you speak French, they speak French to you every day. If you suddenly start speaking English, then they're probably going to be annoyed, and they're not going to like it. So in that situation, I think we had Carol, who's French, actually. I think what she did is she would just have like an English time, if I remember right. She would just say, okay, today for 1 hour, I'll speak English to you. This is our English hour. So kind of would schedule it for certain days. And then the key with children is you have to make it enjoyable. You can't make it into some kind of boring lesson. They don't like that. And you can't blame them. Of course they don't. So you have to try to make it into a game. You can do songs. But you want to make it playful, keeping the attitude fun and relaxed and playful, no pressure. And gradually, maybe you can make it longer. That's the key with kids. But when you start younger and younger and younger, then it's really simple. If you start when they're babies, it's just automatic. That's why it is great to start when they're babies. Vanya, an update from Vanya, our world traveler here. Vanya, I'm thinking about going back to school. Feel like I'm done with the gap year. Good. I've been doing it for almost a year. I'm kind of tired of it. Fantastic. That's fine. But the problem is I don't really want to go to college. Okay. Maybe I should consider doing something different like business. There you go. See, you already know. You don't need to ask me. You've got the answers already. Perfect. I think you have good instincts. See, I mean, this is one thing that happens, I think, when you do start going out on your own, kind of going against what everybody else says. You start to trust your own decisions. You start getting your own instincts. You already have your own instinct right there. You realize, I don't think I want to go to college yet. Maybe later you do. Maybe you're still not quite ready, but you're thinking, okay, I'm tired of just kind of, traveling around. So you're feeling maybe that need to get in there and work and take some risks and get some experience, maybe some losses, maybe some successes. I think that's an instinct. If you think, why not? You have nothing to lose, right? Get in there, try business. I don't know if you mean work, like working for someone else, or starting your own business. It does either one, whichever you're feeling you want to do. Just try it. If you fail, you fail. If you succeed, you succeed. If you like it, great. If you hate it, go back to school, right? So you can't lose, in a sense, really. And whatever you do, it's that much more experience. And here's the cool thing. With everything you're doing, and of course I'm not talking only about Vanya, but all young people, as you get more life experience, if you finally do go back to college, you finally go, and you've had a few years, you've traveled, maybe you've just done a lot of reading by yourself, learning about what you want to learn about. Maybe you've tried to start a business. Maybe you've gone and just worked a job. It doesn't matter what kind of job. But now you've got so much more life experience. When you go back to college, when you're reading books, when you're learning things in college, now it's more useful. You will be a better student because you will connect it to life experience. It's not just theory anymore, right? Like if you try to start a business and you do it for a year, then you go to school and you go to business school. Now, when you learn something in business school, you can think, that might have been useful to me when I was doing my business. Or you could think, that's bullshit, what they're teaching me. I know that's wrong because I have some business experience, and I know this is completely wrong. So it gives your learning more power. Go for it, man. Just trust your instincts. Use the force. Okay, Waleed, with an interesting teacher. AJ, I have a good physique. I want to be a fitness superstar. Physics would be cool too. A fitness superstar, but I wear glasses and I don't have any hair. Your picture looks like you have hair. I don't have a cute face. All that prevents me to begin my fitness business. No, it does not. To get my financial freedom. Okay, look, here's the thing. I know, I understand what you're saying. In social media, there's a kind of fitness personality. I know exactly what you're saying, right? They look like models. It's all about, they look like, their faces look great. The women, and the hair, and they look like they're just showing off their bodies. It's not really about the exercise. It's not really about the fitness, right? It's really about how they look, and they just attract a lot of men. But there are also some men who do this in fitness too, and it's just about how they look. Well, you know what? That's one way to do it, but it's shallow. So there are many, in business they're called, niche or niche. We'll just use the standard old American pronunciation, niche. So a niche, which is like your little segment. It's the group you're going after. There's a guy, what's his name? I can't remember his name. There's a guy, though, he focuses on body weight calisthenics, right? Push-ups, pull-ups, sit-ups, just not using weights and getting strong. He doesn't look pretty. He's not a pretty boy. He doesn't look like a model. I love it, though. I bought his book. I've bought a couple of his books. One of our members, Max, follows him. I wish I could remember his name. Anyway, he's great. But why is he great? Because he is an expert. He really understands. He's got some great methods and techniques for using body weight exercises to get good results. And they work. He understands. He's a great teacher. He understands how it works. Right? So it's substance. He's deeper. He's not trying to look like a pretty boy. He's focusing on people who are serious about getting strong using body weight exercises. Oh, the best example of all, homemade muscle. What am I thinking? I completely forgot. Homemade muscle. What's his name? Homemade muscle. One of his legs was cut off at the knee. He's missing one leg from the knee. He has an artificial leg. Okay? So talk about dealing, right? This is a perfect example of what we're talking about. Improvising, adapting, and overcoming. Okay? So I can't remember. I think he had a car accident, and from the knee they cut off one leg below his knee. Now, you would think, right? Oh, well, how he can't be a fitness, a social media, fitness teacher. No way. He doesn't, he's missing one leg. Oh, he doesn't look like The Rock. He doesn't fit the perfect image, right? But he's amazing. This guy's amazing. Now, first of all, he does look great. Okay? I mean, this guy is muscle. And he also focuses on, homemade muscle means, work out at home. That's what he does. Work out at home. So body weight, maybe sandbags, but no gyms, just working out at home. Now, this guy, and he has muscles. He looks fantastic physically, but he's also very strong. And he's got a great, very, very, very good program. Several different programs for building muscle. Some of them focus more on muscle. Some focus on strength. And he's been very successful. He doesn't look like a model. I'm not insulting him, but his face is not. He's not a pretty boy. He looks fine. He's not ugly, but he's not a pretty boy. He's just kind of got a beard, and and certainly with missing the part of his leg, he doesn't look like a model, but he's successful. He's a true expert. He's really good at what he does. So, if you're really good at what you do, and you learn the business side, okay, so this guy, and he's also not a native English speaker. He's from Greece. So English is not his first language. So that's another thing. And yet, I think most of his customers are English speakers because his book is in English. All his videos, everything's in English. So he has an accent. He's not a native speaker, and he's missing part of his leg, and yet very successful. Why? Because he's really good at what he does. He's really a fitness expert in his area of homemade, working out at home. And he learned the business side. He knows marketing. He understands the business side. So he's been very successful. There's no reason that you can't do the same. You certainly can do the same. So don't think about this bullshit about being a pretty boy. Those guys, they're fake. A lot of those pretty boy and pretty girl, fitness stars on social media. They're fake. They're bullshit. They don't really teach anything useful. It's all just about them looking good. They're just attracting people from how they look, but they don't really help you get stronger. Their advice in fitness is nothing special. So don't be one of them. Go deep. Be real. Michelle saying, trying to imitate AJ, who is the best guitar teacher in the world. I think talking about one of my stories. I'm improving my English a lot using your method. Thank you, Michelle Rodriguez. Okay, guys, almost time for me to go. I hear a baby in the other room calling me. Oh! Baby hungry? What's she doing? Oh, drinking milk. Okay. All right, I'll take one more question or comment. All right, let's see. Okay, we'll go with Ozma, one of our longtime supporters here. Ozma says, the problem thinking in a reactive way and just waiting and waiting so nothing happens and you're still in the same place. Yeah, that's right. It's kind of, you can call it passive thinking, reactive thinking, but it is a weaker position in life in general, because when you wait for things to happen, right, then you have less power in a way, because you can only react. So you're waiting for life to happen and then you do something. It is weaker and you feel weaker, and you usually will be more worried in life in general when you have that mindset, that attitude. But when you have a more, a proactive mindset, when you are taking action first, you feel more in control. Still, bad things can happen sometimes. Still, you have to adjust and do things, yes, but you're more in control. You are taking action first, and you will generally have more success, better progress, and you also feel more confident the more you are proactive in this way. Okay, well, I need to go now. I hear a baby calling me. Good talking to you. I'll be back again live, Facebook, maybe sometimes on YouTube as well. Thanks for joining me. We will continue with our book club. I'll do the next book club next weekend. We'll continue doing book clubs on the weekend. I'll do other topics other days. Okay, lots of love to you. As always, commit, don't quit. Join my VIP program. Join today at effortlessenglishclub.com. Go there now. Speak English powerfully. Speak English fluently. Commit to my VIP program at effortlessenglishclub.com. See you next time. effortlessenglishclub.com.